What's up, Lore Masters? In the last episode of this series, of which the playlist is in the description, we discussed how the NX-01 Enterprise had just recently entered into the Delphic Expanse after the attack by an unknown enemy that had declared war on humanity. Today we'll be taking a look at the Enterprise episode, Anomaly. Just as a brief recap, we do know that the NX-01 Enterprise crew had discovered that the attackers were known as the Xindi and that the Xindi had multiple species. They were still no closer to finding the Xindi homeworld, however, and stopping them from attacking Earth. And as things went on, the situation would just continue to get worse and worse. The further the NX-01 went into the Delphic Expanse, the more they would encounter weird anomalies that would randomly hit the ship and cause massive damage. It would be one of these instabilities that forced the ship to take its reactor offline after a nasty hit. Unfortunately, at the same time, weapons and hull plating would be disabled as well. While attempting repairs, they do discover another ship that had been disabled as well, but find that it had been attacked by another vessel. When they got closer to the derelict ship, they would find that everyone on it had been killed and the vessel ransacked. Ultimately, Archer would order that they go further into the Delphic Expanse and keep on the move in hopes of not being attacked themselves, though I do wonder why he didn't take any of the components that were on the derelict ship. I get that it may have not been palpable, but they're not going to be using it, and the Enterprise still needed to survive. The luck of the Enterprise would continue to give out, however, as pirates do attack the effectively defenseless United Earth vessel, then board it and begin stealing cargo, weapons, and other equipment. Though I will say we do get to see Starship Security and Makos absolutely rock it out in the defense of the Enterprise. Unlike what we would see with Security in the future with a Galaxy-class starship, these men actually know what they're doing. Unfortunately, even with an excellent defense of the vessel, the pirates would be able to steal a large portion of the ship's supplies and escape, save for one lone pirate who is captured. All of this would be a heavy burden on the crew and especially the captain. With the fate of the United Earth in the balance and being under constant attack or threat from the anomalies, everyone would begin to lose touch with their morality, making more questionable decisions. This would include, but not be limited to, torture, but we'll get to that very shortly. Hey guys, this video is sponsored by the author of Providence Ends, the expanded edition. 5 people, 5 stories, 1 inescapable foe. Not only does the book, Providence Ends, give you a great story that includes 2 superpowers that are embroiled in a Cold War that could ignite at any point, but the expanded edition gives you a complete breakdown of the world, its technologies, the people, and world building overall. And let's face it, if you're watching this channel, you're definitely the kind of person that would be into an in-depth and thought-out universe. Also, as of the upload date of this video, the book is only 99 cents on Kindle, less than $1. Come on, I put this up for everyone to see without a paywall, and it's not exactly a cheap process on my side, so if you'd do me a solid, click the link below and check out the book. I'd really appreciate it. Supporting my sponsors helps the channel, so please consider getting this really great book for an unreasonably good price while it lasts. Now let's just get back into it. Ultimately, the crew of the NX-01 would be able to track the pirates and find that they were using a large spherical starbase that had a cloaking field. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was initially critical of Archer, who apparently doesn't question something so advanced being in the middle of the expanse and not looking into it. Not to mention that it's a cloaking field. You know, that thing that Spock had no idea what it was on the more advanced Enterprise. That aside, the more I thought about this specific circumstance, the more I can see how he might be razor focused on getting back the dilithium his ship needs and cargo that was stolen, as well as finding the Xindi. I don't think it's reasonable to expect him to be thinking logically here. After discovering the starbase, the NX-01 would be able to find and bring its cargo back on board the ship. Again, not opting to take more, cause why would they want that kind of advantage? Might as well leave the stolen goods there, am I right? They would also find a manifest that apparently comes from the Xindi, showing the pirates had attacked a Xindi vessel. This would be where the morals begin to be sacrificed, as Archer almost kills the captured pirate to obtain codes to the pirate's ship so they could download the entirety of the Xindi database that was on the enemy vessel's computer. The Enterprise would lay a trap for the vessel, and when it arrived past the cloaking field, attack the pirate ship and begin downloading the database. Here's a question though. They had access to the computer of the pirate's ship, so why not just shut down its engines and weapons and begin the download? You run the chance of them realizing and trying to counter what you're doing, but if their weapons and engines are offline, you can further disable the ship and get what you want. Hell, just lock them out of their own computers. However, Archer wouldn't do this, and the two vessels would fight until 90% of the database was gathered, and then the Enterprise decides to disable the engines. They hadn't disabled them beforehand because they were worried about damaging the computers. And, of course, with the ship effectively disabled, we don't see Archer ask for the remaining 10% of the database that they needed. He simply returns the captured pirate and goes about his way. Because that makes sense to not do everything you can when you're facing the genocide of your species. While this episode only gives us bits and pieces about the war and what's to come with intrigue, the tidbits are vital. We learn that the anomalies can be countered with something called Trillium D. We know other species have come from the Alpha Quadrant and been caught within the Expanse, and leaving is impossible. And we've learned of these spheres that have cloaking devices. All small pieces to a much larger puzzle. And it wouldn't stop there. We would see other Alpha Quadrant species having to survive in the Expanse. Stay tuned as we see how this all impacts the Vulcans.